calling the Topsham Planning Board to order. Could you please take the roll?
Yeah, Don Span,
Present.
Ronald Bisson,
Present.
Carrie Bickford, Larry Brand,
Present.
Scott Libby,
Present.
Andrew Lindsay,
Present.
and Tim Dunham has been excused, so everyone is here except Tim.
Okay, great, thank you. So item C is the approval of the minutes for the March 27th, 2025 meeting. Do we have any comments, or is anyone prepared to make a motion?
I make the motion that we accept the minutes.
I will second that motion.
So you got that, Ron? and
Yeah,
Carrie?
thank you.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? So one abstention. All right, great, thank you. So final site plan, FCM LLC has submitted a proposal to develop a 6-unit storage facility on Recycle Drive in the industrial zone tax map R02 lot 074. So Joe, you're gonna, okay, go ahead.
Sure. Can you upgrade me to a panel? Second. All right, Joe Martin, Sightlines, here on behalf of the applicant. So the next slide will be an aerial, just showing where the project's located. So you got Lewiston Road kind of running south to north. Recycle Drive comes off Lewiston Road, and then there's an existing commercial business right that kind of fronts right on Lewiston Road. And this site is the one just past that on Recycle Drive.
So while you're on that, if you can just point out where the waiver is coming in and where that residence is.
See my cursor here. So that's the abutter that's a single family residence. And kind of see here, which is not working well, but there you go. So there's some existing cleared areas between that property and the commercial property being developed. There is an existing fence that's present. It's in not the greatest shape right now. So as part of this project, we're going to be repairing that fence and then extending it to close that gap of where we don't have the wooded buffer area.
Right, and the lighting plan and everything.
Yep.
It will satisfy the needs of not disrupting that residence.
Yep.
Okay. No, go ahead.
So the next slide is just a rundown of the project team. The applicant is FCM LLC. Sightlines was the engineer and surveyor for the project. Jones Associates helped us with some wetland delineation, and then Land Design Solutions was a landscape architect for the project. The review process. So of course we're going before you for planning board approval. We were here for sketch in November, and we're going back now for the final approval. The whole project of Recycle Drive was a site law approval. So this project requires a site law amendment, which is being approved through the delegated review process that the town has. So the changes from the sketch plan, there should be major changes from it, is there's a number of technical comments on the stormwater management plan that we've been addressing with the town's peer review engineer. Part of that comments is there's an existing swale that runs on the property from the abutting property, and we've added a drainage easement to protect that swale to make sure that it can't be built upon in the future. We've also added some clarification on the existing stockade fence, which I was talking about previously. And then we also added an additional waiver request for that 50-foot buffer between this property and the abutting residential property. And this is the original planned commercial development that was approved for the property. I just want to kind of show you this is the limits of lot 2. So it's kind of the main chunk, the triangular piece to see. That's where we'll be constructing it, but lot 2 does extend down the road quite a ways as well. So this is the site layout plan. Not much has changed since this was initially presented as sketch. The entrance, same location, buildings are same size, same location. Same with the access drive that wraps around the buildings. Really the only major change on this is that fence line that you'll see kind of towards the bottom of the bottom of the plan. And there is kind of a gap in the buffer area there. So we are upgrading the existing fence and then extending that fence line to kind of cover that gap. And that easement that I mentioned too is just above that fence line. There's a stormwater pond on the abutting property and it discharges onto this property. So we just want to protect that swale from that abutting property. Next slide is the grading and drainage plan. Oh, there you go. So again, not much has changed from the initial sketch plan application. The majority of the developed areas are going to be directed towards the drainage swale beside Cycle Drive, and that all flows down to a culvert that then drains into a wet pond that was previously constructed and is sized to handle the runoff from this property. There are two buildings, the two buildings that are the lowest on the grading plan. Those are going to drain to a roof drip edge filter, and those will just drain off-site into the wooded area.
So, Joe?
Yeah.
Just while you're on this slide, so to the right of what we're looking at right now is where the current pond is, then you have the swale that comes right to left, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And then that swale, anything that comes from that swale marries into your other drainage that goes to the culvert, or?
No, that swale kind of just drains into the wooded area. Eventually, there's an existing culvert that's down by the railroad, and it drains over to that area. So that does not flow towards the wetland.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. This is the landscape plan. Again, this hasn't really changed since the sketch plan. We have some street trees along Recycle Drive. There's also some shrubs and smaller plantings that are between the proposed buildings and Recycle Drive. And then again, we have that fence that's being extended adjacent to the residential property.
Do you have a fence that encloses the whole property at all? Or?
No.
No.
No, this isn't, like a typical, I call it a small unit self-storage will have, typically have that fence, but this is more of like a larger buildings, larger areas, more of almost like a commercial storage space. And this is the lighting plan, and quick to answer your question. So the light is entirely, the property is entirely lighted by building mounted wall packs, and there's no lights that are facing towards the residential property. So they're all facing inward towards the road areas. So there's no light trespass onto any abutting property, even commercial ones. And then this is just kind of a typical elevation view of the storage building. You can see it's going to be kind of larger storage spaces, larger overhead doors, taller buildings to fit in larger equipment and things like that. The color scheme for this is going to be the panels are going to be, the siding is going to be a tan-ish color. I think it's called almond. And then the roof, the trim, and the doors are going to be a classic green. So we couldn't find an image on the website that matched those colors, but it's going to be this style building with those colors. So that, I can answer any questions you have and talk about any of the.
Well, let's, before we do, I guess, let's determine whether we
Yeah,
agree
we've got
with.
a quick motion here. I move that the planning board concurs with staff that the appropriate final site plan application materials for the proposed self-storage development at 10 Recycle Drive have been submitted and that the application is complete such that the board may proceed with substantive review and identification of any further action or information which may be required of the applicant.
Second, oh, Carrie got that.
All right, Carrie second, all right. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, 15 minutes, thank you. So go ahead, does anyone have questions for him?
I was curious how tall the buildings are. You said they're similar in height to that photo.
I would want to say, I have the elevation, say they're around 20 feet in height, and they're kind of, they're tall in the front and they pitch back towards the rear. So the front of the building is the tallest part.
I see.
I could get you the exact, but I think it's around.
So it's
20 feet.
just a single picture.
Yeah.
You have cameras?
I don't know their security things right now.
Just curious.
Yeah. It hasn't been discussed. I'll say that much.
So we discussed the 50-foot setback, which we discussed that about other projects before and there too, so that's great to clarify that. And the other waiver is for the bike rack, which given the fact that you're not gonna have folks on site, it's just the basically commercial uses of these, people are gonna be coming to.
Yeah. If they bring a bike, they can park in front of you.
So I guess this is sort of a question for you, maybe, but whatever. So to the extent that I think this is located where it's not an issue, but do we have any issues with the direction of where the doors are opening and stuff? Okay.
Staff.
We have in the past on other properties, but not in that zone, right? So,
Yeah.
All right. All right, Carrie, anything else?
No, I mean, if I were personally going to store something there, that would be my concern, would be security and just people that don't like to take care of things and like to vandalize or whatever. I mean, especially with no fence around it and no gate to get in, anything like that. But
I haven't seen
problem
it.
that just,
I haven't seen a storage that didn't have security, but again, I don't know that it does or doesn't, right? Okay, Scott, anything else?
No, it's good.
Larry, or Larry, Andy?
I'm all set.
All right, Ron?
Well, I'm all set, but just so you'll know that at nighttime, there is a gate there, so nobody can go in through
Into the whole complex.
Yeah.
All right, then I guess if no further questions, you understand the conditions and everything else, you've seen them all, so we're good.
Yep.
All right, so to address the waivers first. I move that the requested waiver for the 175-10F3 requirement that a 50-foot vegetated buffer be maintained where the setback is adjacent to a lot in residential use or residential zone be approved in accordance with staff memo dated April 10th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Approved. Two waivers.
Okay,
I move that the requested waiver for the 175-12G requirement that a 4-space bike rack be provided for all commercial developments be approved in accordance with the staff memo dated April 10th, 2025.
I'll second that one.
All right. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed, so it's unanimous.
I move that the final site plan review application for the self-storage facility on 10 Recycle Drive, tax map R02, lot 74, having satisfied the applicable standards in the site plan review ordinance, chapter 175, and the zoning ordinance, chapter 225, is approved with staff recommended conditions and findings identified in the staff memo dated April 10th, 2025.
second,
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Alright, good. It's approved. Thank you. All right. And I will entertain a motion to
So moved.
adjourn.
Wow.
Second, all in favor? All right, we're good.